Today, I am here with Shannon Leahy of Shannon Leahy Events, a bi-coastal wedding planning and production mogul, who I have the pleasure of calling my friend. Shannon built her entire business on one idea, that service is the ultimate luxury. The busiest, most brilliant people in the world don't just want a beautiful event, they want to feel seen. Please welcome Shannon Leahy.
Thank you. I've never been called a mogul before. That's a first.
Oh, well,
A very small mogul.
oh no.
Wedding industry mogul, which is the smallest kind of mogul.
That's just for here and now. I mean, I
Yeah,
see
that's
what you're
right.
doing.
That's right.
The
Right.
trajectory is only like this. So
Yeah.
in a few years, let's have this conversation again, right? So I was thinking about how we first met, and I don't know if you remember.
I saw your pre-show note, so I know that it's NOLA Engage.
It was Nola Engage where we trauma
Right.
bonded.
Yeah.
And
Oh no. That was
crazy.
actually one of the most amazing events I've ever been to in my life. I still hold it up as one of the top because of the location of the final party. And that,
Totally.
do you remember that space? It was the Mardi Gras world, but you went through a building and then you thought you were outside, but you were actually in a sound stage. You were under a ceiling, but it looked like you were in the streets of New Orleans. And it was just, I mean, that space existed and was rented for the party, but I think about that space all the time.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And honestly, that Engage was the best from a relationship building perspective for me too. So many incredible people. And I remember meeting you and so excited to meet you. And then we took off from there. But for those who don't know you and how you started your business, I'd love for you to just give a little bit of a background.
Okay. I'm a wedding planner, designer, and florist. I started on the floral side of things. I actually started in nonprofit events before I got into
Did
weddings.
you?
Only throughout college and then for a year after college. Thought I wanted to be a fundraiser and then quickly realized that wasn't for
Nope.
me. But I did love the events and I loved theater and creating environments. My mom is an interior designer. So I started working for an event designer in San Francisco and learned a ton from her. Total trial by fire in the best way, and fell in love with weddings specifically and started my own business 2 years after that. So that was 2009. So we're 17 years in, and I've built an incredible team that I couldn't live without. And I'm very lucky to work with. And yeah, we work all over the world now. And our
Cool.
team is spread all over the country,
Well,
particularly since COVID.
you
So
know,
yeah.
which is so great. And you referenced your team, and I know we're going to talk a lot about your team today because it's hard to find great people and keep great people. And you've managed to do that. I'd love for you to share a little bit about how you started on one coast and then how you expanded, because I think it's really inspiring and again speaks to you and your relationships and fostering and really fueling these relationships.
You're right. It's very hard to find good people, especially with what we do, because it's the service industry.
Yep.
And yet we have to have this incredible level of sophistication, taste, style, experience to be able to advise and guide clients who've seen everything, and also be fine with sweeping up the floor and moving boxes at 2 a.m. and working on your feet for 17 hours and all of the things that, just being treated like the staff and being, to some people, demeaned. I love to serve. So
Yep.
I don't know, that doesn't bother me, but it does bother certain people. And so finding that Venn diagram, I always say, is very small. We're willing to do all of that. So it's a small pool of people. But the reality is everything we do it's trainable. You learn on the job.
Yep.
And you have to have great common sense, great problem solving skills, and be smart. And then a lot of the people we've trained from the ground up just because they've got a great attitude and they're smart people and they're going to figure it out because they want to. So yeah, I started in San Francisco. My first full-time hire, which took me years to pull the trigger on.
Yep. That was
Was
smart.
very scary.
Yeah, it's so scary. It's so scary. Yes.
Her name was Elise, is Elise. Elise is my partner now. So she came on, and I had a number of part-time people, but she came on full-time in 2013. And the big learning lesson with Elise that I always share is I had this vision of I'm going to be the creative genius and have the relationships with all the clients,
Yep.
and Elise is going to do all the work, unfun work, or whoever's working for me is going to do. And I think that's how a lot of people in this industry go into it. They
Yep.
hire people to do the stuff they don't want to do, which is a smart way to begin.
Sure.
But the reality of the situation is if you've got someone smart and capable and sophisticated in that role, they're not going to want to be an assistant forever. And I don't think Elise, in signing up for the job, thought she was going to be my assistant. And there came a turning point where I had to look at her and say, she's going to leave me if I continue to let her put her in this assistant role, or I can take a chance and let her start doing her own projects, which was terrifying, and see how it goes. And she rose to the occasion. I'm telling a very long version of this story, but I
Good.
never meant to grow a huge team. But I realized that if I wanted to keep incredible people with me, I had to. And they had to have space to learn and grow and develop people underneath them. And that's how it started. We brought on more people. She moved to Los Angeles. I kept her. That was the other thing, is when you find someone really great, sometimes life takes them elsewhere.
You move
And it's
on.
like, okay,
Mhm.
let's figure this out. So we expanded to LA. And then in 2020, I moved to Maryland.
Yep.
It was actually a move that was pre-COVID scheduled. We bought
Right.
a home in January 2020 with the goal of being bi-coastal and eventually moving to Maryland. And then, of course, in April 2020, we were like leaving California all of a sudden. And then now we have people in Denver and Charleston, San Francisco, LA, and I've grown a team in the Baltimore, DC area too. And we have someone in New York. So we're
Yep.
all over the country now. And one of my employees is moving to Miami. So now we'll be in Miami too.
So cool.
Not markets that I've necessarily pursued, but
Right.
ones that's where our people have taken us, and it's worked out.
Yeah, you and I share that in common. There's a Venn diagram for us as well. And
And
one
what's
thing,
your Venn diagram?
my Venn diagram is I grew too damn fast and I
Ooh.
needed to scale it back down.
Do you know what a Venn diagram is? No, I'm just kidding.
Right. So that's where we are not on the same crossover.
It takes a lot of guts to grow that fast, though. I admire that because sometimes I feel like I have grown too slow. So I don't think you should be hard on yourself. I think it's an amazing thing.
I appreciate that. I had to learn a lot of hard financial lessons, I will say, really quickly, because I was just too focused on growth and revenue versus profit, which I like to say, I'm only 38 years old. This is the first time building business. I'm going to give myself grace. So if I learned it now, like actually really at 35, cool. But when I found those people, I didn't care where they lived at all. In fact, I liked that I have a footprint almost in the exact same markets that you have, because it's okay, if that's really important to someone to work with me or to work with you, I've got a great person there. And it creates this added layer of trust and
Yeah.
visibility, and then subsequently brand awareness and recognition. And so
Yeah.
a spider web of your brand in a lot of ways. I get that. But honestly, hiring slow is great.
Hire slow, fire fast.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's true. I learned that the hard way,
That
unfortunately.
is one that everybody learns. Yeah. You know, I
Yeah.
talk to other business owners and they're giving me the litany of reasons why they think they may need to let someone go. And I'm like, you made this decision in your head a year ago. You just haven't done it yet. Come on. You're letting that person go and be free and find something that's going to light them up. Usually it's two-sided, right? Don't you think?
It's always two-sided. I
Yeah.
also think when we assign too much ownership on someone else and we have fear to let that person go, it has more to do with us. And am I going to be successful still, even with or without that person? And I think that's where it gets dangerous. I've found myself there and also out of there.
Mhm.
But I don't know if you've ever felt that way before, if you were like, no, this is me and that's it.
I think all the time, probably too much. I think, okay, if I lost this person, what would I do? If I lost this person, what would I do? And it's like, I feel like I have redundancies in my head and plan,
Yep.
just because I'm always looking at best and worst case
Of
scenarios.
course.
But yeah, as far as people leaving and becoming competitors, I think that's something that I'll say a lot of people in the industry, but what I want to say is a lot of women. I don't know why, but I feel
Bingo.
like women in particular are really fearful. I'm going to hire this person, tell them all my secrets, then they're going to go and start their own business. And maybe,
Mhm.
maybe
Yeah,
they will.
maybe.
First of all, treat them well, compensate them well, give them opportunity to grow, find out what motivates them and reward them for it. And hopefully they stay. That's
Mhm.
one.
Yep.
But if they leave, I've had 2 different employees leave me, start their own businesses, come back and work for me again.
Stop.
Yeah, because it's hard.
Yeah.
And
It's,
it's everyone thinks it's really easy, and
yeah.
let them go find that lesson out on their own. Wish
Mhm.
them the
Yep.
best and keep that door open if you can.
Yes. I've recently, over the past year and a half, moved into that headspace of not operating from a place of fear, because honestly, that's what it boils down to. And to your point, it is, for me, it has only been women where I'm like, what if? But then if you are in a place of fear and what if, that's bad for money. That's bad for the flow
Totally.
of money.
It's a money rejector. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And having conviction and faith in yourself and your own sauce is, at the end of the day, you're X many years into this industry. You're
That's
X
it
many.
too.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, it's fine. All
Yeah.
is well. All
Yeah.
is well.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any hesitation or thought to change the name of the company because it
Oh,
is your
yes.
name? Okay.
Constantly.
Tell me.
Yeah, I thought about it a lot
Mhm.
because first of all, as an asset, it's not very sellable when it's, and I know caterers have done it. Listen, there
Mhm.
Paula LeDuc in San Francisco is a
Mhm.
great example. Top caterer,
Mhm.
named after Paula. She sold the
Mhm.
business and it continues on in her name. So
Yep.
I'd like to tell myself it's not impossible, but it does seem like a major roadblock. Also, sometimes people want me
Yep.
when sometimes my team is even better than me for certain jobs,
Yes.
right? But at this point, there's so much brand
Mhm.
recognition. I do think also in the luxury space, when you think of fashion designers,
Yep.
interior design brands, things like that, it's often named after a person. Every time I bring it to Elise, my partner,
Mhm.
and put it on the table for a conversation, she immediately shoots it down,
Yeah.
which is surprising because it's not her name on the business, even
Right.
though she's a huge contributor. But she feels that it's the brand recognition and we keep it. So as long as she keeps saying that, I'm going to trust her.
I tend to completely agree, actually, because you've built up enough sweat equity into the brand and the name that it is recognizable, and people reference it so much, like Shannon Leahy events, but SLE too.
Yeah, they do say SLE now, which is
It's
nice.
really
I like
cool.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Me too. I was
Yeah.
thinking about that. I was like, actually, a lot of people reference it like that. So
Good.
it's cool. Run with
Maybe
it.
that will be where we go to.
Who knows? You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So I have a couple questions on who your clients are and why they come to you. What are they looking for specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's kind of big picture who our clients are, and then there's also my very specific ideal clients.
of
There's two
course.
slightly different questions.
Yep.
Our clients are people who have traveled the world, seen everything, done everything, and they love unique experiences. They love doing something different and they love design. I tell people when they interview us, if you are the type of person that's like, I just want great music and a great food, and that's all that matters, and I don't care about the decor, then please do not hire
Yeah.
us. I say that to people, right? You're
Yep.
not our fit.
Yep.
So that's number one as a
Hmm.
baseline. Often they have a lot of ideas, but they don't know how to bring it all together. So
Hmm.
they're looking for a partner to help them develop those ideas. And then we have lead planners, and
Hmm.
each lead planner has a little bit of a different ideal client.
Yep.
My personal ideal client is the busy CEO
Yep.
who is, I've got 5 meetings before the wedding and boom, 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 and they can make the decisions and they
Hmm.
never look back and they want everything so efficient and they trust me to do it. I thrive with that kind of partner. Some of
Yep.
our planners thrive with we're texting 8 hours a day relationship with the bride. No, but they feel like they've built up such a great level of trust with that bride. They know that bride inside and out, and that
Hmm.
bride, they have a great relationship. So everybody on our team's a little bit different,
Yep.
but yeah.
I love that. And it doesn't surprise me, but I do think the thread line with, at least from the outside looking in, is that there's obviously this exceptional level of detail in your design that when you zoom out, it's like, I've never seen that before, but it's not overdone or over designed. It's like the perfect level of, oh my God, I've never seen that, which is hard to say, honestly, to anybody in this space. I actually have chills saying that because
Great compliment.
yeah,
Thank you.
it's
It's the best
true.
compliment you could give. I appreciate that.
It's true. And so for me, it's like, I know because of that when it's you and your team every single time. But you referenced your clients as your muses. So how do you pull that information out of your muses?
Yeah. I would definitely get bored if we had one look
Yeah.
and we did one sort of thing. I am so excited every time we get a new client because my goal is just to pull out from them like
Mhm.
what they love, what their backgrounds are. Like we had a client named Molly who grew up in the DC Eastern Shore area, but her parents were diplomats. So she actually grew up in the Middle East.
Cool.
So we had all this like Egyptian and Moroccan, all the places she lived, like
Cool.
influences in her wedding. But then she loved modern art. So we had a Calder sculpture hanging in the middle of her tent. And that ended up going into her home in Tahoe that they like in the great room and hanging there as a permanent installation. So I don't know. It's just, I love to ask clients their favorite artists, their favorite restaurants and hotels. And I'm creating, and I don't call it this, but it is a brand. I'm creating, okay, Persephone is
Mhm.
punk rock plus glam plus a little bit of Texas
Yeah.
plus whatever the things
Yeah.
are. And that's Persephone. And
Yeah.
that's her. And now I'm going to put every decision we make for the wedding through that lens. And I'm sure it's very similar to what you do for your clients as well.
It is. And I've never heard it referenced in that way, but when you say that, it makes so much sense because it is a brand is a translation of oneself into this other entity or other experience or, visual in some capacity. And it's true. You do. That's certainly what we do. You want to get into the psyche and the mindset and the psychology of those people and how they think and the decisions that they make. So I'm curious to know how you how do you pull that out outside of, I know you have an intake form, but like,
Yeah.
how do you get there? Because it's so specific. An intake form, even you can get what you can get, but you're able to go layers deeper. And so I'm curious to hear what
Yeah,
that.
every client and project are different, but the intake form is huge. We've really spent a lot of time developing those questions. So that can be a big indicator. We ask people to pull like a Pinterest board of non-wedding images. So anything that has nothing to do with a wedding that they like and are drawn to and they don't even know why is sometimes very inspiring. We've for certain destination weddings gone window shopping with clients and just seeing what they're drawn to, and even just having a meal with someone, you can pull so much out of them. We have one client this year, they're getting married in Majorca, and I think we said, what's the last thing that you bought that you are just in love with for your house or something, or the last thing you purchased? And they showed us this piece of art that's hanging over their bed that they love. And we're actually basing the wedding design around that. So
So cool.
it comes through all different ways, but it's
Right.
just asking really good questions, I think.
How do you coach, teach your team to do that? Or is that your role in your business?
Great question. I think our team absolutely is great at connecting and pulling out. And sometimes they feed me ideas
Mhm.
too, which is great. But I do think that's the piece that I offer. Dalen works closely with me
Mhm.
on event design. So we're the event design department, Dalen and I, along with our floral team, and Elise helps as well. But my role as creative director is I touch every project. So I have that conversation with every client, and I am really crucial to coming up with that kind of brand for each of the clients.
Yeah.
And then it kind of get passes off for execution. So right now I am training it, but
Mhm.
that is the piece that's me.
Yeah. And that's going back to the sauce. That's the sauce, right? And
Yeah.
you can teach, you can coach, but it comes so fluidly and so naturally to you, I'm sure, that it takes it to a different dimension when someone is working with you in that process, right? And your ability to translate that. So I'm always so interested when speaking with other business owners on finding that thing. And to me, that's exactly what it is. It's everything else too. It's how you translate that too. But that's really cool. I have another question as it pertains to communication with partners, with vendor partners, your team, etc. We do share Dalen in common, where he's a good friend, and he and I spoke in preparation for this conversation, and he was saying one thing that Shannon does so beautifully is has the hard conversations
With everyone.
with everyone. We shared that in common, Shannon.
Yeah.
So Like, what is that? How do you maintain your composure and your cool? Like, what
Mhm.
is that?
Yeah, I'm curious what you would say to that, Persephone. Is that a
Mm,
natural talent? Is it a learned talent?
I have thoughts.
I'm an only child,
Me too.
and I was always in a room with adults as
Me
a
too.
kid. So I was in the middle of the dinner party at age 12 having a conversation with adults at the table. And I think because of that, I'm very comfortable having conversations with people much older than me or more
Mhm.
established than me or clients or whatever, and feeling like I don't know, I can do that. So maybe
Mhm.
that's part of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously, yeah, always. It's just trying to find that middle ground that works for everybody, right?
Exactly. And I think you can say something. So what I have learned is that just being direct is gives people clarity, and it doesn't need to be offensive to be direct, right? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Clarity
And
is kindness, right? Is that what it
exactly,
is?
something
I
like
think,
that. Yeah,
yeah, there's
something
something
like
like
that.
that.
But I find that the more clear and direct I am, the better things go. Everyone knows what to expect after that, right?
Yeah.
And I think at first in my career it came across as harsh, and because I think I was being harsh accidentally. But I would agree with you. I do think part of it too is being an only child, being in a bunch of rooms, a bunch of adults, having to just say the thing to engage, to be able to insert oneself. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that about you, that we share that in common.
Yeah, I think that's got to be part of it. But listen, sometimes people are just oil and water. I
Hmm.
do think I'm good at having hard conversations. And when things get escalated, they come to me. But every now and then there's someone that just doesn't, we don't jive, right?
Right.
That's
Yep.
what's so wonderful about having a team because then Elise can come in.
Mm.
Usually, if for some reason I'm not their cup of tea, then Elise is. For
Yep.
whatever reason, we must be opposites in that way and
Yeah.
vice versa. So just having the right person to come in and relate can sometimes save the whole scenario.
That's so funny. I have the same situation on my team as well. Eddie obviously is my husband, but also we work together. And some people just can hear
Yeah.
things differently from Eddie than they can from
Yes.
me.
Yes.
And it's like, this is just not going to work. But I'm curious, especially when it comes to design, right? And so you're
Yeah.
working with people who aren't, they might be design enthusiasts, appreciative
Mhm.
of it, but they aren't designers. How
Mhm.
do you guide your clients when there's friction of they want you to go left and you're like, we're not doing that? How do you
Yeah.
get them to see the light?
Listen, I'm in the service industry.
Mhm.
This is their wedding, it's
Mhm.
their party. And if they ask for my opinion, I'm going to tell them why I
Mhm.
think something is a bad idea. But sometimes they don't actually want my opinion.
Yep.
Sometimes they just want to do what they want to do. And I
Mhm.
think they should be able to.
Yeah.
I'm going to share why I think something's a better solution. And if they hear that and they still want the thing they want, then that fight is over. I got into trouble early in my career being too strong willed about what I thought was the right aesthetic choice
Yep.
and frankly got fired from a job partially because of it.
Yep.
And it was a great learning lesson for
Hmm.
me because it's, you know what? It's their party and it's my
Totally.
job to some weddings are just not portfolio pieces and that is okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
Can we say that a little bit more? Some things are
Yes.
not for Instagram's consumption, and it's just for the like.
Yes, and it's they love it and we're going to do it the best we can and we're going to make it perfect for them and we're going to do it with a smile because it's their wedding. They should have what they want.
Exactly. And I really like that. I really do believe that we shouldn't force people to be something that is off brand for them,
Yeah.
right? One thing that I've heard you speak on a lot is what luxury is and what you expect of people who work with you as vendor partners, etc. I'd love for you to just explain like the language of luxury. I'd love for you to explain your perspective on that.
I think luxury means something different to everybody. But to me, luxury is excellent service and just a seamless experience, start to finish. I think our clients are busy and they
Mhm.
hire us because they want to look like geniuses. They want to look like creative geniuses. They want to throw the best party. And maybe they could do it on their own if they have enough hours in the day. They've hired us to just create this incredible experience for them throughout the planning process and, of course, at the party itself. What we look for in our vendors is I'm looking for someone who is going to stand behind what they tell me. So just if you tell me this is what you're going to do and this is how much it's going to cost, then that is what you're going to do on time and that's how much it's going to cost. And that sounds not that groundbreaking.
Read between
It
the
sounds
lines.
simple, but the reality is you get a lot of excuses or a lot of, I thought it was going to be this, but it turns out it's going to cost me a lot more money to do. We just had a situation this week where a hair and makeup artist included travel in her fee, waited till the last minute to book her flight. And her flight cost way more than she had included for her travel fee. And she was asking us, can I go back to the client and ask for more money? And we said, I'm sorry you waited so long to book your flight, or I'm sorry you estimated poorly, but you can't. She did it anyway. And the client called us and was like, what's going on? We're like, don't worry, we'll take care of this. I really like this person. And she made a mistake. And that should have been a learning lesson for her to take on with her. But now it's someone that I'll have a really hard time referring again in the future because she didn't say what said she was going to do.
I really think, and I've been preaching this all year long, that as much as has changed in our environment, there's just a lot of heat going on in our industry currently. I think we can all mutually agree upon
Always,
that.
right?
Always, but particularly this year. I think obviously social has a lot to do with it. AI has a lot to do with it. There's just lots of more chatter than ever. But what I think we've lost sight of as an industry is the basics. Follow through.
Yes.
Follow through.
Responding. Yeah.
Responding to an email, to a text, in a reasonable amount of time, or to communicate, I will get back to you at this point, right? Or to follow a timeline that has been so perfectly curated, and to deliver whatever you need to deliver on this date as is stated by X contract. These are the basics that have nothing to do with the internet at all.
Yeah.
And yet it's the continuous conversation that I'm having that is the difference in my mind of excellence and sustained excellence and subsequently business versus not. And it's blowing my mind. Like, we're all busy. Right? We're all busy. So why is this so problematic? Or has it always been this problematic and now it just feels worse? I don't know. You would know better.
I think that it's an industry of creatives who are very passionate about what they do and aren't always the best. And I think to be really excellent, sustained excellence, you have to be creative and be, extraordinary, but also be good at business.
Yeah. Yes.
And think long term about things. With that example that I just gave with the hair and makeup artist, and I literally can think of 3 other similar examples that happened in the last 2 weeks. So this is not, I'm just pulling one. That person lost, not only are they not going to get the $1,000 for the flight or whatever it costs, but they've also lost referrals for the future that are going to cost 10x, 30, 100x that. It's just so short-sighted, some of the decisions that people are making.
I couldn't agree more, especially even if it's a couple $1,000s. It's like, what is the relationship worth to you long term? People don't think like that at all. And I think, again, that's like a scarcity mentality. One thing that again, going back to our Venn diagram, is that I believe you have both that left and right side of your brain, the creative side and the business side, really intact. And we both nerd out over a spreadsheet and numbers, which love. But for those who maybe don't have that, what would you suggest to them as a solution if they're just creatives?
Study, read, buy books about business and learn about it. Listen to podcasts about business and educate yourself. I know it's not interesting to everybody, but if you want to run a business, you have a responsibility to do that. If you don't want to, then go work for somebody else.
Amen. I really have a hard time accepting the excuse of, I just don't like that. Then your ability to really grow, to really scale, to really thrive, you just capped yourself. Yeah. For what? What? I'm appreciative of natural curiosity. I think that's one of the most important things to have as a business owner, also in employees as well. Figure it out.
That's what I want to foster in my children more than anything.
Amen.
We
Amen.
call that the figure
Yes.
outedness. That's one of our main hiring qualifiers. The ability to
Yep.
figure something out. I don't care, just figure it out. You can do that, you can do anything. That's all the events industry is just one big figure it out puzzle.
Exactly. Exactly. And you mentioned that you love a puzzle and you feel like there's kind of crossover.
I do. I feel like a wedding is this big production that you have to break down into little pieces and figure out how they all fit together. And the same is true of design, and the same is true of running a business.
Yep.
And it's fun. I don't know, I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
I do too. I think both sides are super fun. And for the pieces that I feel like I'm not the best at, that's where you still have to be educated enough and curious enough
Yeah.
to understand at least topically what's going on. But plus we have AI to help digest a lot of the things that we don't know at an expert level.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what your usage, love for AI is. Are you a fan? Where do you fall?
I'm an AI enthusiast.
Love.
Not expert, certainly, like I think maybe you are beginning to be, but enthusiast. I think it's so fun to think of all the different ways it can help. We love using it for design.
Mhm.
It's great at being able to communicate an idea that's in your head that you could sketch it with a pencil that takes forever and
Right.
isn't exactly accurate, or you could put it into AI and describe it. And sometimes it's a combination of both. We'll take a sketch and a photo. This is what I'm thinking, but like this, and then it makes the picture. There's so many ways to use it like that, which has been so helpful for
Totally.
communicating to our vendor partners and our clients what's in our mind, which is, I feel like it's just making everything go a lot smoother.
I
I've
agree.
noticed on site, because when we get on site, it's like, yes, that's what I thought it would look like, because you saw the AI rendering of what I thought it would look like, versus more of an abstract idea that different people interpret differently. So it's been great for design. Obviously, it's great for analyzing data and spreadsheets and things like that.
Yeah,
Even
I
planning
agree.
strategy. It's wonderful.
It's the best. It's the best. I really can't stand the idea of AI taking over jobs, especially we're in a creative space. Events cannot be done by robots, period. And so I do think the more you lean in, the better outcome you will
You don't think
receive.
events can be done by robots?
Not at this moment. Not at this
Give
time.
it 10, 20 years, maybe.
Maybe in some capacity, but I still think that the creative juices only will come from one place, the human brain.
I think it's like the difference between fast food and fine dining. I think robots could replace waiters. I
Sure.
think robots could replace bands. I think robots could replace a lot of what is on site for the wedding industry. But at the highest level, people are going to want that human touch and that artistry. And it's just going to make servers better. Like,
Mhm.
you're just going to have to be a server that has so much warmth and expertise and joy and kindness or whatever. So it will become an ultimate luxury. Waiters may start getting paid $200,000 and $300,000 a year because it's an ultimate luxury to
Yep.
have one that's excellent, right? So it's just going to change, I think,
Exactly.
industries in a lot of ways.
Exactly. I always reference this, but now we pick up our phone and we open up an app and we get into a stranger's car and we
Yeah.
go wherever. Where when we were kids, we were
Never.
told not to
No,
speak
don't
to
do that.
strangers.
Yeah.
Don't get in a stranger's car, right? So it's like it's going to adapt and we're going to change, and that's okay. And that change is okay. If you're willing to share, I'd love to understand how you do explain budget to your clients, because transparency, clarity, all of those things have been so problematic more than ever. I feel like, at least
Yeah.
in the chatter in our industry, you are very clear and very direct. So
Yeah.
I'd love to hear like how you present it in a space of clarity.
You mean in terms of our process, basically?
Yeah.
Yes. Obviously, those conversations begin in the sales call so that we make sure we're a good match. And sometimes we'll do budgets for people during that process in a vague sense, not saying we don't know enough about you or the project yet, but here's some numbers just so we're all on the same page. Then, once we really get a better sense of their venue and what their goals are, we sit down and we make a budget before any vendor is hired, usually before the venue is even signed. And it has a low and a high in each category.
Yep.
And we talk through what that means. And then we have our clients sign a document at the end of that conversation and they check a box. And one box says, I've seen this budget and I'm comfortable with the ranges. Show me everything. We'll make decisions as we go.
Yep.
And the second box says, I'm not spending a penny over X.
Okay.
Do not show me options over X. And as long as we're all agreed about what X means and they're good with it, then we only present and we bring it in at X. Like I can do that. As long as we're on the same page about what it means, I will bring your budget in at the number that I tell you to bring it in. I will build in a buffer. I will make sure. I have no problem with that. As long as you don't halfway through change your expectations or your guest count or anything else. That's a different thing.
Correct.
Or if you don't tell me, which I have had, which is why we do this document, because I've had people chugging along and then halfway through set an arbitrary budget, but half of our vendors are already booked by that point. Now it's impossible for me to meet that budget, right? So it's taken many years to get to where we are, but it's working very well for the moment. COVID was tricky because coming out of COVID, numbers started exploding in a way that planners I couldn't guarantee you that I would bring your budget in for X because numbers were changing every month. It's stabilizing now. As long as it continues to be stable, we're in a good place.
Yeah, I read somewhere years ago, I think it was right after COVID, you had a quote about a tent, that the tent fee was, you had budgeted for $60K.
Yeah.
And it came in at
120.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
that's what was happening post-COVID. It was wild.
You don't feel like that's happening right now too, where
it's just as expensive as it was. Prices have not gone down.
No.
And they are continuing to go up. I'm not seeing wild jumps.
Okay, that's good.
In that way. It's back to a consistent incline.
That's promising for the moment, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not a 4-year project. It's a 1-year project. We get quotes, we lock them in. Yeah.
I love that approach. I haven't heard anyone talk about it like that or outline it like that, but it makes sense. Again, things do change, and based on your decisions and your taste, things can change. And it's like, that's the note that I feel like isn't registering with the narrative that's being trickling out on social and on TikTok and Reddit, which is a sometimes dark hole. What is your relationship with social media?
That's a great question. What is my relationship with social media? There are times in my life where I've said it's just a fun toy to play with, and I felt like I could be experimental. I certainly felt that way with TikTok. I just got to try things out. And I wish I still felt that way, because I think in order to be successful, you have to take that approach. I think about Martha Stewart. She just messes around on her Instagram. It's nonsense, and I can't stop watching.
Constantly.
She's hilarious.
She's amazing.
Isaac Mizrahi's another one who's just posting the most random stuff. And I'm like, yes, get it. It's so fun to watch. But it's scary to do that.
It is.
What if people don't like it? You get into a formulaic rhythm about it.
Exactly. Are you still playing on TikTok?
I haven't made a TikTok in a very long time. No.
I would really implore you to push there, actually.
TikTok.
Yeah, I think that TikTok is still massively underutilized in our industry.
Yeah, I agree. We have a client this year who hired some random photographer from TikTok, and I'm excited to work with him. New people are always great, but I'd never heard of him. But apparently he's massive on TikTok.
Which there's pros and cons to that, right? I think that at a specific echelon, like at the ultra luxury space, we've been like foot off the gas on TikTok, where I think actually we need to gas up, because what's happening is, and I'm sure that person's amazing, but it's giving light and life to people who are inexperienced, which creates a fracture in continuity on your experience plus this photographer, right? Or this videographer or even planners, right? Where it's like, these things are actually not aligned.
Totally.
But I know you like that person's personality, but it shows what this generation is wanting, which is, and I'm not going to actually say the word authenticity, it's personality that people want.
Yeah. Someone human, someone to connect with.
Exactly. Which is why, go ahead.
I don't know how you feel, but I feel like I don't want to dedicate every waking hour to posting on it because it removes it. I don't have time. I like my life. I don't want to spend more of it online, but to do something fun and playful, don't you feel like now I have to continue it?
Sometimes, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like a trap you're walking into that, or you're signing yourself up for something that's going to take a lot more time than you want it. Anyway, it's a tricky thing.
It is. You know what I would say? Of course, you can post your events or what have you given, right? But it's actually what I would
Yeah,
be so interested in what the things that just inspire you. And even if it was like one big living mood board for you,
totally.
cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
That feels like less energy to edit also. Like
Yeah.
we can maintain that where it's like the before and the after and the transitions. And there was a period of time where I hope we're going away from this. I'm just going to have to caveat that. I hate trending anything like at this moment. I hate trending anything because we've just then diluted ourselves from a music perspective, from a brand perspective. Let's not do
Right.
that. But I think now you can kind of be random on TikTok and it can hit.
I think you can. I think you
Yeah.
can be random,
Like, let's be
right?
random again. Yes. Yes, it's time.
How long do you think you spend on, I know it's your job,
Yeah.
but how long do you think you spend on social media a day?
So I think I spend probably 3 or 4 hours a day on social media, which is
I-
maybe less than you'd think. But I
Yeah.
tried to just box it in the morning and the evening. And then I try to be very present during the day as much as I can. And I often operate on a lag. Like, even if
Mm.
I'm at something that's really cool and everyone's posting, I try to have a lag because I don't want to live like that. I don't think that's healthy, actually. And I don't think it's healthy to think that we have to post an event immediately. Your thoughts?
Yeah, but then you're like desperate for content. And then you're like, I have this amazing thing now. I want to post it.
Mhm.
Actually, I don't know. I think that so much of our business is referral based. Yes, to the general audience, they don't care if it was today or 6 months ago.
Right.
But to the people at that wedding,
hmm
the more recent it is, the more it's in their minds, the more they're willing, they're able to find you, I think.
Totally. That's actually
So,
an excellent perspective. I still think you can be on a 48-hour, 72-hour
yes,
lag and it's
of
still
course.
relevant.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you,
absolutely.
because do you expect your photographers to give you sneaks immediately?
I love it when they do. I would say the unset expectation is within a week or two.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. And I think a couple sneaks is sweet and
Yeah,
kind, right?
yeah,
Especially when you hired
absolutely.
them.
Yeah,
When you've
yeah.
hired everybody. Yeah, that's nice.
We have a few weddings we're sitting on, and I'm just so excited to share
I'm
them.
so
It's
excited to
so
see them.
sad not to share them yet.
Do you hold them from like because of publication or what's your stance on that?
Yeah, it's publication for
Mhm.
in some cases. And in one case, it was a situation where in hiring the photographer, they said, I want to be clear before you sign the contract,
Mhm.
I need a full 2 months to turn you around any single photograph
Okay.
because my summer is so busy.
Okay.
And the clients said, we understand. And that's where we're at.
Clear.
Yeah,
Clear expectations. Snaps to
absolutely.
those people.
Yeah, exactly. And they may not have hired them because of it,
Sure.
but they did, this client,
Sure.
that was fine.
But I
Yeah.
think, again, if you are being honest and that is truthful and that client wants that photographer, then you shouldn't be actually hiding that information in any capacity.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my thought too. I'd love to hear your perspective as it pertains to vendor credits.
Vendor credits are hard,
Mhm.
right? Because obviously the photographer, the
Mhm.
videographer, the people who created the content get credited, no question.
Yep.
I also don't mind crediting and like to credit venues and caterers and entertainment and some of the bigger
Mhm.
vendor partners.
Mhm.
I struggle is especially when it comes to decor and some
Mhm.
of the smaller vendors that make things happen. And it's not coming from a place of not wanting to support small business because
Mhm.
I want these people to grow.
Obviously.
But I'm also very aware that there are many people, other planners, people in the industry, brides who follow us and lift designs from us, which I actually don't get that upset about. Whatever, we're already
Mhm.
on to the next thing. Some people
Right.
get very upset by that. I don't, it's fine.
Mhm.
But Then what happens is these small makers and people that we've researched and trained in many cases get the product that we've gotten out of them. Now we're too busy to work with us, or they're overworked and they're giving us worse products, or the prices go way up. And there's also sometimes a bit of a gray area between vendors who, like Social Supply, who I love, is a rental company. They also do custom decor production and builds, and they do full event design very well.
Yes.
When I tag them, the client and other people don't know if it's rentals or if it's event design, which creates a little bit of ambiguity. And when they post it, people don't know that either.
Correct.
So anyway, there's all these nuances to it where we just tend not to tag a lot of our rental and decor partners and smaller vendors for that reason. That's why you hire us. But it's hard because some people get upset, and that's tough. But my feeling is we gave you the business and we paid you for it, and I don't owe you anything beyond that.
I do think that there is a demanded expectation that you tag me in this photo or this thing. But to your point, you're the purveyor and the curator of this whole experience, this whole vision. You did pay them. You did do the thing. Are you saying, and this is just like a note of clarity, are you saying that for those makers, do you guarantee them amount of business each year or anything like that?
No, we don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand that too.
We don't. And I get it, right? Because it sucks if a photographer posts our photos and doesn't tag us and they have a big following. I'm like, what's that about?
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. I'm sorry.
Well, let's say that.
I hate that.
Let's say the photographer referred us for the job.
Sure.
I didn't bring them into this, whatever. I know how it feels to be left out of a post. I've been published in magazines and not tagged. I get it. It sucks, but I don't know. It's also our intellectual property and part of what we're paid for.
Yes. I actually have a huge issue when photographers don't tag the planner. And
most of ours do, to be fair. Yes. It happened much more, I would say, in the early days of Instagram.
Yes.
It doesn't tend to happen very much anymore.
Total. I can see that. Also, you have a great following as well. So people want to be tagged, retagged, collaborating with you.
Yeah, most people are happy to tag.
Completely. But I actually have a huge issue with Vogue not tagging the planner. So I did a little bit of a rant a couple weeks ago after that whole situation came out where they were sharing pricing.
Where they said you can't use the Vogue magazine title anymore. Is that where?
That too, but they were having price transparency and lit everyone's souls on fire. But
that's a tough line to walk, that article. That's a tough one. Surprising that they... But it got a lot of conversation.
Sure, it sure did. It sure did. So one thing that I just have never understood, and I can't rationalize like why, is that Vogue would only tag the photographer and not tag the planner, because it's like this would never happen unless these people were involved to create that vision.
And I don't know. I don't know have they ever said anything about why? No.
Nope. Will they ever? Absolutely no. Absolutely no. It's weird.
I don't know. Not all of the weddings that they published have planners.
That's true. That's a good point.
And that was the one thing about that pricing article that was nice. And I do think Vogue in particular, not every wedding in Vogue is $1 million wedding. It's not. It's kind of cool.
You know, I think that's more true for once upon a time in Vogue. I think now it's a lot of celebrity.
Yeah, but even, I don't know, there's weddings in there that are not very expensive, but maybe the fashion's really great, or maybe the people are really interesting, or maybe.
Sure.
I don't know. I do think that's true.
Really? I didn't know that piece, actually.
But then, of course, there are some weddings that look not expensive and really are. It's not always easy to tell. But I can tell.
Pendulum swings. Totally. Of course you can tell. Of course you can tell. I actually wanted to ask a little bit more about how you foster relationships, particularly new relationships, right? To work with new talent, to work with
Yeah.
new makers. Like, how are you setting that bar? What does it take? I'm sure it's lots of different ways, but I'd love to hear.
It is lots of different ways. There's many different circumstances. Sometimes there's one particular, like we want to make a paper flower chandelier and we find this expert in making paper flowers. Sometimes it's a specific skill set like that. And sometimes it's a long road with maybe a paper vendor or a hair and makeup person or a photographer. They may do projects for us for free for internal marketing. And then they might do a little one. And then they might do one that's a half off one, like a half of a project or whatever. Can you come help us out? Sometimes, and that's how they earn our trust. And we know we can rely on them, that they're willing to do these sort of smaller projects for us and give 100%. And then it's once you've built that trust, you're in forever. But that takes time.
It does take time. And I think sometimes people forget that you're also, especially because you do both sides, planning and production, planners are risk mitigators.
Yes.
So to take a risk on someone new is a risk to your bottom line, to the guest. Sometimes we forget that.
Yeah.
And so I like that it's like you have to have a little skin in the game to show me what you got without saying you're not saying.
I mean,
that.
I hope that doesn't sound entitled in any way.
I
It's
don't
just
think so.
sometimes that's how new relationships are fostered, and that's how sometimes we can really, especially in
I couldn't agree more, and it makes a lot of sense. And it also allows you to stand out because you're willing as the partner to put yourself, your name, your talent, whatever, on the line.
And stand by. And at the same time, we love working with new people because it keeps our work fresh. If we only worked with the same people over and over again, which a lot of planners end up doing because it's like, these are the people I trust, then your work gets tired.
It's true.
Yes.
It's true. You do need new vision, right? New expression. But that's what, again, I think your team translates so well and obsesses over finding that perfect paper artist to create the floral chandelier. I'm like, what? That was, I feel like a real life example of something that happened.
Yeah. And she lives in the Midwest or whatever. And you're like, I really hope she's going to deliver that.
I fully feel that. One of my friends, I met her at some random event. She paints floors and she creates this. She's incredible. Her name's Elizabeth. And she paints these dance floors in all of these really cool, interesting ways, and came from Cabo and then moved to, I think, the DC area fairly recently. And I was talking to her and I was like, people just need to see and experience. Oh, you met her at Kinetic.
I worked with her before, actually, in Cabo.
Love her so deeply. She's so insanely talented.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so specific. That is such a specific experience, desire, all of those things. And I was just saying to her, I'm like, people just need to see and re-see and re-see your ability to shapeshift. But finding someone to paint a floor is specific. So of course you worked with her. I didn't realize that. Of course you worked with her.
I know, I was laughing because I was telling her that 15 years ago, we didn't have dance floor decals. We're dance floor decal companies. So all of the custom dance floors we did were hand painted.
That's so wild. It's so wild.
Sometimes they were sticky and sometimes I learned all kinds of hard lessons with the stencil. You would print a big stencil and it would be painted before decals. So yeah, but she's bringing it back. It's cool.
It's really cool. It's really cool. Something you said earlier to me, which is first we start with finding the venue and locking that in. You are known for making venues out of nothing.
We do make venues a lot. It's my favorite thing to do, actually. Give me a field.
Yeah, you make a lot of things in a field.
Yeah.
So what's that like?
I mean, I'm obsessed with it. I always wanted to be an architect. So it's like I get to build a venue sometimes. It lights me up. I don't know how that started, just people having land and wanting weddings. And then I don't know, we got good at it. There's so much that goes into it. Some of these places we go, there's no running water, there's no internet. We have to bring in Starlink, you have to bring in generators, you need Firewatch. There's just so much to it, but again, it's a big puzzle. It's fun.
It's so cool. It's so cool. I was looking on your website and I was like, she has, for those of you who don't know, she has this slider of before and after, and a lot of them are just literally nothing.
Parking lot or a field.
Yeah. Or a field or a random blank building. It's so cool. It just shows the ingenuity.
Yeah, I think that's really fun.
Love that. I love that. So I could talk to you forever, truly, and I appreciate all of the time you've spent with me. But the last thing I wanted to talk about was parenting and motherhood, and how do you believe in balance?
I believe in balance. Yeah, it's just never a perfect balance, of course. I have two boys. They are 9 and 6, and they're awesome. I love them so much. They're so fun. It's a great age right now.
It's
I made a choice to move to Maryland, where my husband and I grew up, so these kids could be growing up around their grandparents and going to the school that my husband and I went to.
That's so cool. I didn't realize
Go
that.
to in the community that we love. And it was a hard professional choice because I think I've done one wedding in Baltimore in 17 years where I live, and a few in DC and a handful in the area, but I'm traveling a lot. But I was traveling a lot when we lived in San Francisco also. We didn't have the support system there. So it's been a net positive for sure. But I have made some very big life choices to be present in my kids' lives. And as much as I can be, I travel a lot. I have an amazing partner. My husband is a great dad and very hands-on. And sometimes mom's away and stressed, and sometimes work falls behind because I'm being a mom and on the lacrosse field. And for now, it's working. It's always changing.
That's all we can do, right? I fully feel that. Some weeks where it's so busy and I'm traveling and doing shoots or whatever is going on, I like to warn my kids that I'm not going to be my best self or very present. It's just where I am in this moment, but it doesn't change how I feel about you. It doesn't change anything. It's just, this is this week, right? And next week is next week, and we'll have fun.
Absolutely. I think kids understand. I say no a lot to professional opportunities that I would love to go to. I would love to be, if I did not have children, I would be at every client's wedding. I love to go to the weddings. I might not go for 14 hours to every wedding. I would go to every wedding. I can't do that and be present in my children's lives. So I have to pick and choose, which is hard. So I say no to a lot in this season, but it's worth it. And I've had the boys come to a wedding. They don't really understand what's going on, but they're starting to get it. They came to engage and heard me speak, and that was really special.
I heard about that.
Very cool for me, and I think for them too.
Totally.
And I don't know, I think they're proud of their mom. They're starting to understand it at this age.
Yes. They do understand it. My boys are 9 and they do understand. They understood at 5. They understood at 4, honestly. I feel like some pieces of it connected, but that is so cool that they heard you speak. I'm like, oh my gosh, that gives me chills. The twins are coming to WIPACon in a couple of weeks, and they're going to I'm really excited about it.
Are you speaking?
I'm speaking, and
are they going to hear you speak?
So it's the first day of school.
That's not going to work.
But
that's the worst timing.
The worst timing. But I'm going to be moderating a lot of the panels the days before, and they're actually going to be at the hotel and attend all the parties and with all the people that they know. And I'm like, they've been in rooms, they've come to the studio to podcast with me, they've been on shoots with me, but they've never seen Julian do a party or DJ an event or Kate. So I'm like, this is going to be so cool because they know these people. Yeah. They know
that's really
them.
fun.
Yeah. So I was so happy to hear that your kids heard you. And I'm like, that's actually how I think we're able to change how men grow up, actually. Their perception of women, how they treat their spouses, regardless, man, woman, whatever. Right. I'm like, those are the moments that I don't think they actually will forget, even if they don't fully understand. That's my hope, at least.
I love that.
Yeah. But tell me, leave us with what's the future for SLE? Leave us on a high.
Oh, we're in such a good spot right now.
So cool.
Which, never is static. Everything's always changing
Of course.
all the time.
Of course.
We're in a great spot right now. We have a great group of people. I'm excited to
Mhm.
see what new projects continue to come in for the year. And I have so many ideas of what the future could hold for me and for the brand, but we will continue to grow and change because that's what you have to do.
The
That's
only
what I
way. It's the only way.
and we'll see what that ends up meaning.
I love that. I hope you'll come back. I would love to
Yeah.
have you back.
Yeah, absolutely. This is so fun.
Please, thank you so much. And for everyone who isn't already following her at Shannon Leahy, is it at Shannon Leahy Events?
Yes.
Yes,
It is.
across everything. She'll be on TikTok soon, sharing her inspiration once
I'm
again.
gonna go do my TikTok now.
Yes. But thank you, my friend. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. You too.